Some things never change, huh? Rachel munching. It's only 7:30 in the morning.
What a better way to
No,
start
but I'm
a
hungry.
podcast. Just Rachel munching away.
Yeah. Do you never wake up and you're just starving? That is me this morning. So if you hear me munching away, apologies in advance. Because I know some people absolutely hate the sound of munching, so I actually won't eat while I'm talking.
So you're just gonna starve in the morning. So people don't really do that in the morning. Just get up and record a podcast for anything else. But that's what you get for abandoning us to the other side of the world.
No, time difference. Shocking.
Yeah, it gets you. It gets you, but we're almost at the Christmas.
As
Yay!
now, it's like the three of us seem so energetic right now, but after the intro music, we're going to try and pick up our energy a little bit more for all different reasons. We're not really feeling 100%, but we are going to feel 100% right after. What?
But we started.
I was going to start off that way. Yeah, so you want to restart it?
All right, so.
Okay.
No, I didn't know. It's fun.
Okay, so today's podcast, we switched it up a little bit. We put out a couple of different Instagram stories there on Friday, I think it was, asking you guys to send in a couple of questions. So we have a couple of serious running related questions and a couple of not so serious running related questions, including one on a particular anatomy body part of one Eric Lawless that we will get to in a little bit. You didn't check the Instagram, man, but this one took me by surprise. So I will be asking that a little bit. But the first one, just get the Instagram up here now. The questions you think I'd have them prepared out in front of me. One of them was on running related carbon shoes. I'm trying to get the exact wording on it now. Archive questions.
You're kind of killing the show here, Seán.
Sorry, one quick second. I thought I had it up, but new phone. I'll explain that later too.
New phone, who this?
New phone, who this? Yes, carbon related. It just says very short, actually. Carbon related shoes for Christmas present. We've talked about the carbon. I assume it's carbon plated shoes. They meant to say. We've talked about this before on the podcast in terms of whether you should have carbon plated shoes or not. But since then, I haven't actually used carbon plated shoes, so I'm out on this. Although I will say, if you're buying someone else running shoes, I think you should know what kind of running shoes they wear and they're used to. Otherwise, they could have different types of running and all the rest, and running gaits we've talked before. So I'm actually a little bit clueless on this one, Eric. I know you are, but Rachel, you're not so clueless on this one.
No, but first of all, I do think unless you're a partner being sent to buy someone specific running shoes, stay away from buying it for them. Because, shoes vary with size, with, widths and everything. So I think unless you've actually been asked to go get someone a pair of shoes, or you run with them every day, or you are clued in as to what they wear, I think not a great present idea. Because it needs to fit your foot perfect. And even the new models and everything mightn't. But let's talk about new models. Carbon plated shoes. So I have had 2 pairs. The second pair I got and wore for the first time in a race yesterday. I believe that's a no-no in racing. Have you ever been told not to wear new shoes straight away in a race? Yeah, guilty. So I had the... It's true. They say you shouldn't. You always advise people when you're in running stores to break them in slowly. Okay. I definitely am guilty of the complete opposite. Classic, in one ear, out the other. But yeah, the carbon plated shoes I've had, the Hoka Carbon X's, so the first model of them, I had them a few years ago. And I currently have, oh my God, I don't even know the name of them. Let me see if the shoe is in front of me. I have a pair of New Balance Fuel Cell. I'm actually not sure if that is the name of them or not.
But they're New Balance Fuel Cells.
What do they say?
I've heard of them.
Fuel Cell.
The Fuel Cell. I think it's 4C
Elite. And I mean, I know people on Instagram won't be able, or sorry, on the podcast won't be able to see them, but like how stunning are they? And they are just fabulous. I will get onto my brand new pair of cycling shoes that I wore for the second time in yesterday's race. I know. But yeah, I have the 2 pairs of carbon plated shoes. And I suppose when I got the Hoka, I wasn't really training at all. Like I wasn't doing much competition. I was more just training. So I used them for a bit of speed work. And again, I wasn't doing much speed work. So I do really feel unless you are competing, it's not worth the money. It really isn't worth the money.
And if you are competing, did you feel the difference?
If you are competing, like I know when we chatted 2 weeks ago, I had just gone out and done a triathlon and I came home in like maybe 3:58 per kilometer for 5K.
Right.
I reckon I've done less training in the last 2 weeks and I averaged 3:50 for the 5K yesterday, 3:50 per kilometer. So if you had asked me before the race,
it's
sorry, Eric,
10% different. It's taking that 10% off, or it's giving you that. Isn't that what they say, that it's giving them the extra 5 to 10% extra edge on the upper end of the scale?
Yeah, like
the study says, I don't know. 4%, I just wouldn't. But you feel that when you're running, Rachel, like?
Oh, like I felt extremely bouncy, and my style probably looked better than it had looked in a long time. No shuffle, like I actually had my high knee lift, and like I just would not have pinned myself as being in 3:50 per kilometer shape before yesterday's race.
Right.
And then when I finished, and again, I did the whole, I'm not looking at my pace here. My last kilometer was like a 3:32 or something.
Holy shit.
Like
sick with all of that.
I just, and again, this is my personal opinion of the shoes. Yeah. There's nothing scientific here or anything. Don't go quoting me. But God, I love them. Like I really did feel like from the off, I had a spring in my step. And that's what they're meant to do. Give you that little extra bounce, or be a bit more responsive when you land, get you off the ground quicker. Seán, you'd know all about your fast twitch muscles, things like that. I think the shoes are maybe designed to aid in that area a bit.
And you felt that difference, and it didn't really negate, like if you're not going to train these all the time because of just price and you don't need to. But when your running gait changes then on race day, or if it did change, you're saying like higher knee and stuff like that, there's not because you're running differently than what you're training, you're actually training them, you feel like you're not losing any benefit in that.
No, I don't think so. And again, like the cost of them is the reason that I'm not going to run in them every day. They are expensive. So that's what I'm saying. Like the first time I had them, I ended up selling them on because I just wasn't getting the benefit from them. It was just pointless having them because I wasn't doing much speed work. I wasn't competing. But this pair, I was like, right, I am back competing. I am back running a bit quicker than I had been. I'm going to get them. So, I think they made a difference to me yesterday.
So obviously you have experience and do a lot of, we've talked about your story before in terms of you're a very fast 5K runner, much faster than myself and Eric. You do triathlons, you've done a lot of events and racing and all the rest. Someone listening to this podcast who is geared maybe for their first marathon next year, their first couple of races. Is there any point in them getting carbon or plated runners? Like, will they have that? Will they notice the difference themselves in that more of a bounce, stuff like that? Would you recommend it for those people, even if they really want to get the run and want to get all the gear and all the rest? Would you recommend it at this stage, or to train for a couple of years before doing it? Or is there any point in training for a couple of years when you could just get faster runs now with these carbon plated runners?
Isn't that why Nike designed their 4%ers for the sub 2 hour marathon attempt? Weren't they designed as, a really superior marathon shoe? The only thing I would say is they are super cushioned and super foamy. So if you are pounding the pavement, you're not going to get much longevity out of them. Again, I have mine half a week, I think. And I didn't keep the last pair long enough to see what the wear was like on them. But I would just imagine, like, if you are, you know, if you are training a decent amount and you do want that extra just kick on the day, but then they mightn't suit everyone because they are very, like, you sink into them. And like, I love that. Like, I've had Hokas in the past. I currently am running in the New Balance Vongo. So again, very cushion shoe. I love the Brooks Adrenaline. I'm just throwing out a whole lot of shoes here, but all of them are very soft, very cushioned shoes. So if you prefer a more solid, like, it's hard to describe, but a more solid feeling underfoot, then maybe they're not for you. But I would definitely, you know, have a think about it, because, you know, it really depends on how quick you're going to go as well. If it's going to be the difference between you running, you know, breaking that 3-hour mark or breaking the 4-hour mark, and you're kind of on the fence, then yes, they probably would make a difference. But if you don't have a specific target in mind, you're probably okay in just your normal shoe. Oh, no. Sorry, my mind is going at 90 here. If you're doing marathon training as well, like, I ran a 5K in them for the first time yesterday, which was fine. 5K, even if your feet are sore, you'll get through that. For a marathon, you're not going to run in them for the first time on marathon day. You're probably going to do a few half marathons or a few, maybe a 3/4 marathon in them, just to make sure they're suitable. So you're not going to get the same length of wear out of them that someone like me only doing 5 or 10 Ks is. So you need to bear that in mind as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like a running shoe used to just be a running shoe, and okay, one would have this extra bit of cushion, and one would be one suited pronated, or, you know, like, that was all you kind of had to think about. But like anything, everyone is looking for that quick fix to get faster, or that quick fix to be better. The shoe, although it will give you that little bit extra, it's not the answer to it all. And as well, it's priced. Like, some of these shoes are going from 220 euros, 250 euros to, I think, some of the on-level runners or some of the ASICs are about 150. And they say with some of them, looking at some of the research with them, that they're actually only really good for that 4% difference for around 200 kilometers. So you can't really be using them, especially in the training for a marathon. You can't be using them all the time when you're out in the park or you're just going for a run. They're not a shoe that you can put junk miles into. And you're kind of, everyone's like, oh, running is free and it's cheap or it's easy to do. You just put on your shoes and go. When you start going down the road of having a couple of different pairs for different kind of runs, because some carbon plate shoes are better for 5Ks, 10Ks. Some are built more for marathons, half marathons. So now you've got this wardrobe of shoes. You're like a Ferrari F1 team coming in and changing. We're going with the soft shoes today instead of the mediums. You know, like, it's a very expensive thing to be getting into then for those couple of minutes maybe, or couple of seconds in the shorter distances. Obviously, if you're at Rachel's level where the margins are minimum, then of course, why wouldn't you put yourself on the same scale as the person? Because you can guarantee the person who's in front of you is probably wearing them. So at least you even the playing field then in that kind of sense. But yeah, it's something I would definitely, if you've been around it a long time and you're looking to just get that PB, or then 100%, even for the mental benefit, it's money well spent. But again, if you're rocking up to your couch to 5K, I wouldn't be going buying them. It's a waste of your time. Just stick to your regular runner that you're going to be able to use through the winter and run through muck, and, you know, and the same runner that you can sit in a spin bike or a rowing machine. You're not afraid to kind of wreck. That would be my kind of impression of it, and it's the impression I have. I don't think I'll be buying one anytime soon. Yeah, because I'm not at that top level where it's going to matter to me, or I'm going to lose sleep over it.
You say you're not at that top level, Eric, but I'm going to move on to the next question. I actually don't know what this person means with this. I consider I know you well for the last, 10, 11 years, maybe over 11 years I know you now. And this has never stood out to me, but it stood out to this person on the Instagram. How do I get Eric Lawless style calves? I swear to you, that was a legit question on the Instagram, and I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing or a great thing. maybe you're proud of your calves. Maybe we're putting up too many pictures of you in short shorts going on runs and the calves are standing out on the Instagram. I don't know what's going on here, but that's a legit question. Answer however you will.
Do we find out? Can we see who asked these questions?
Oh, yeah. I'll send
We
it on to you
can,
later.
but we're not telling you.
Well, they're lucky I'm technology inept on the old Instagram there. So how do you get it? I don't even have good calves. Maybe they're flagging me, so I really want to know who they are.
I'm going to give you the boring answer because unfortunately it's genetics, because I have the worst calves you could imagine. So I would happily back that person up and, take any advice on how to change them.
I suppose
it's one of those things that is off. Like even bodybuilders talk about that. A lot of it's just genetics. You've got great calves, you don't but it's like really in terms of building them. Obviously runs and hills and stuff like that. But like it's like really slow work. Like people would do like 100 calf raises as fast as they can. Whereas if they go the opposite way, they'll actually get a lot more out of like really slow, lowering down 4 or 5 seconds, and slow up for 2, 3. And just as much weight as they can while doing that would be the technical answer to that question. But maybe that's not what Eric Lawless style calves are all about. So I'm not too sure.
I don't know. I need more detail on that. Like,
do you shave your legs?
I can't answer.
Oh, that could
question.
be. I've never Rachel.
Specifically. I think Rachel.
Sorry, I trolled my end.
I sent a picture of my calves to Rachael and she's speechless.
Oh wait, I didn't get them.
It's all right, Rachael. It's all right. No, I'm only winding you up, Rachael. You're all right.
Oh.
Moving on.
I was just saying. Maybe
Well,
it's the hairless legs that they're a fan of.
Is it the what?
The hairless legs. Do you shave your legs?
Did I shave my legs? No. They're just really light now because of although when I'm getting work done on my legs, yes, I will, because it's actually quite sore when you're getting massages done. But I don't get out the old Venus razor. I just kind of trim them down, so it's a little bit easier to get calves.
Great Christmas present idea there.
Huh?
What's that?
Massage voucher. A great Christmas present idea. A massage voucher.
Oh yes. That is a good
a sports massage voucher. Or if you really are insisting on buying someone running shoes, get them a voucher for their local running store. If you need recommendations, just ask us. We'll recommend a load of good running stores where you can get a voucher for where your significant other or your friend, whatever, can go and get gait analysis or stuff done. Well, yeah, that's just some Christmas ideas now to pop in there. Less than 2 weeks to go.
Speaking of Christmas, we did get a short question. Are mince pies the best endurance fuel?
I'm out. Don't eat them.
What is wrong with these people?
I think people are just in the Christmas mood with these questions. And then we got another one as well. How long will it be until Seán goes full send? That's a correction down the word. On the trails, grows a beard and wears only plaid shirts. I did go through a beard and plaid shirt phase, but you remember from the States, I had the goatee and the plaid shirts and the red checkered shirts and all the rest. So I've already gone through that stage, but I'm definitely interested in doing trails next year a lot more. I've signed up for Quest Glendalough. I can't remember if I said on the podcast, or just the podcast finished, I saw David Goggins put up the 4-4-48 challenge to start.
That's true. I have seen that up.
Yeah, so that I'm definitely going to do that this year as well. I know it's not exactly trails, but I'm definitely interested in the different challenges like that, as opposed to 5K and 10K road racing and stuff, and trying different things. I didn't get into Art O'Neill, which I'm crushed about. Probably a good thing with my fitness level right now, but that's something is definitely in the bucket list. I'm going to keep trying to the rest of the year, or to every year until I get in.
Yeah, the David Goggins one is something to good look forward. It's kind of it's mad though, when you start looking at these events that are on early in the new year, you're kind of like bringing it back to the mince pies. It's like, do I have 10 or do I maybe keep it at 5 and be a little bit fitter in January because there's big races coming up? And so yeah, it is something to keep it when you're talking about using mince pies like I'd be getting sick. Oh, that would be horrible. Yeah. Yeah, that would be. Imagine doing the David Goggins challenge, the 4x, and all you could eat was mince pies for the whole thing. That's a challenge in itself. Even if you weren't running, just eating 4 mince pies every 4 hours for 48 hours, that'd be disgusting.
To me, mince pie belongs to something like I'm a celebrity. I think they're just nasty anyway, personally.
Yeah, I'm not good. I'm not good.
Chocolate log, and that's my Christmas dessert, and I'm happy.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be doing that and running.
But yeah, no, I suppose if you're looking for a reason, or you can look at it as mental fuel. If you're eating mince pies, then definitely get out and get running over Christmas.
I think at the start of the podcast, I think I just noticed now Rachel's very quiet here. Rachel, were you munching on a couple of mince pies at the start of this podcast for breakfast? Or what's going on?
I don't touch them. I don't. No, it's just not something I would ever go in and pick up and go, ooh, a mince pie. No, never.
Yeah,
it's one of those lumber hating things. I'm the same on that one. You've talked about this already, Rachel, but I suppose we can kind of wrap up the podcast. And this one would be running Christmas presents, I suppose, that are not running things. Maybe there's something that one of you guys have used throughout the year that's any running gear, any something you're like, oh, this is what's really helped me throughout the year that you would recommend to someone. I'm going to start really quick on this one. This is a very old thing, but a backstory on it. The phone thing that goes against your arm. I'm always carrying my phone. And I had an old iPhone that I carried through 3-4 marathons, not a bother. I got a new iPhone there back in April, and I carried it in this marathon, and I had it up next to my wristbands, and they were a bit sweaty. A bit of sweat got into the phone, and I need to get a new phone just before Christmas. So if I was to recommend a present to anyone, it would be one of those armband things, stick a phone into, because it's cost me a fair. Do you know that Apple Care do not give you any coverage or anything like that at all, even if it's in the first year warranty, if there's water damage, and that includes my own sweat?
How could they prove your own sweat though?
No, I need water damage. No, it's just water damage. So what happened was, it happened, and the phone was grand for 2 days later, and then the thing just had an epileptic fit in front of me. It just started like violently flashing green, white flashing, like.
But how did they know?
My mind looking at it, and then I brought it to the shop. It's like, what's wrong with it? So I didn't have the first part. I held it when running. I was just like, it just went flashed mad at me, which is true. And they sent it away, and they said, yeah, no, water damage is going to cost like 550 quid to fix. I was like, well, what with the first 1 year warranty? And they're like, yeah, no, that doesn't count with Apple with water damage. And I was like, oh. They're like, they have insurance, and like that would have been a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
But their phones are supposed to be water resistant.
Yeah, but like they're barely water resistant. Like this bit of sweat, that was it. Like ground.
Funny story. So 2 weeks ago, maybe, we had absolutely crap weather here in Melbourne. Like it just pissed rain. And I didn't have pockets in my shorts. So I just threw the phone into the waistband of my shorts. And then I made a dash from the doorway to the car, which was maybe 7-8 meters. And just as I got to the car, didn't I hear this thud? And next thing I saw my phone fall off the curb onto the road. But the road was, I'd say, half a foot of water. So the phone just disappeared in front of my eyes. So it took me a second to realize that like my phone just disappeared. Snatched it back out straight away. And, it was fine. But when I went to charge it, I kept getting this message saying, water in the charging duct, please disconnect charger, allowed to dry. This could take a few hours. So I was freaking out, going, shit, like it's not charging. So I just left it a few hours, stuck it in rice. And yeah, it's been fine ever since. Touch wood, don't want to jinx it. Yeah. But the heartache when it just falls into a puddle in front of your eyes.
I never got the notification.
But that just proves
the inside, and nothing was wrong that way. And I just no notification, anything's wrong with it. Charge is the worst thing you do as water damage. And then there's a lot of Googling told me afterwards. 2 days later, the thing just had an epileptic fit, and that was the end of it. I hit a couple of smacks to be grand for 10 seconds, then gone. So Eric, Rachel, you're not getting any Christmas presents off me this year. I had to go out and buy a whole new phone because,
Rachel drops her phone in a foot of water. And it works. just shows you how much Seán was actually sweating during that night.
It's kind of disgusting when you think about it.
On that image. We can't wrap up the podcast on that. So I suppose any other tips or any other Christmas presents?
Good ones. I've got a few good ones. I've got my top tips for presents. Top tip for presents. Don't buy a fucking Fitbit. That's number one. If you're going to buy a watch for someone, stay away from Fitbit. It's the biggest gimmick and a great marketing scheme. But stay away from Fitbits. Even go with an Apple Watch. Garmin's. Rachel, what's that new one you got? You stepped away from Garmin.
I have a Chorus. So it has all the features of Garmin, half the price. The battery life is insane. I maybe charge it once every 3 weeks, if even, and that's with full GPS use. Actually, Dara, who we did the Barroway run with, he's the one who recommended it for me. So absolute shout out to Dara for the recommendation. I have not looked back since getting it. I think I paid €300 for a watch that does, like, it has triathlon mode. It has heart rate in the water. That's something Garmin doesn't do. It doesn't read your heart rate when you're swimming. This watch does. So I think, €300. It was a steal. So that is my pick, a Chorus. COROS. Chorus.
So that's, in terms of watches, great one. If you've got a Garmin watch, you want more accurate heart rate and the water, you need to get the Garmin Tri heart rate monitor. Which
again is 100 and something euro.
I know, but sure, I went with the watch, so I'm in. It's the same when you buy an Apple product. You're in the ecosystem, so if you've gone that far, you might as well keep going. So
let's not talk to me about that.
So Garmin, the Garmin Tri heart rate monitor, it's not really compatible with the iPad and the Zwift, which is a really annoying thing. But you have to get the Ant Plus or whatever to connect it in. So that's something I'm going to work on as well for the new year. However, with the watch, I've used it rowing, I've used it lifting weights, I've used it on the runs, and my heart rate, I actually feel like it's slightly more accurate as well. I'm not getting the same bugs where you're sprinting and your watch hasn't quite caught up with you because the weather is cold, or, it's just not reading it correctly. But it is a great add-on, especially if you're going into heart rate training or doing any long distance. Really, really good buy. Last things as well. So, Seán, you've gone with the arm. We've gone with the watches, with Chorus, Garmin. Don't buy Fitbit, dog shit. And the last thing is winter wear. You can never have too many running hats because you sweat profusely into the hats. So definitely go to Decathlon or go online, pick up little gimmicks, little snooty scarves or little hats. They're always a great stocking filler and always a good one. You can even pick up little protein bars or something as a nice little gimmick. It's just something to, especially if you've got a Chris Kindle and your limit is €20 and what'll I get them? Always go with something like a hat or a little snood. They're always a couple of euros and you can get multiple different colours and whatever else. And it's just nice little gifts. They'd be my stocking fillers as well. So after that, once you start going down that road.
If you have me, I don't want those stocking fillers.
Yeah, unless you're buying for someone like Rachael, who already has everything.
No, but it's my summer. Yeah, I just can't get into the Christmas spirit, not when it's 20 degrees outside. No, but
if you're expecting simply that.
Yeah, my heart pumps piss me there, Rachael.
No, my second recommendation is I hate the bands for the arms, for your phones. But I bought a belt for a tenner in Decathlon one day, and I love it because I throw my phone into it, I throw my keys into it. You just throw everything into it, and it's a nice small one. So it's a very small pouch that just sits nice and flush against my waist, and you don't even notice it's there.
So there we have it.
If you just want.
And that's it. Not one of you has recommended a running book or anything like that after our podcast a couple of weeks ago. With that said,
I have read all three of her recommendations now, though, and I do highly recommend them. So you can listen back, check the Instagram post, Born to Run, Why We Swim, and I can't think of the third one off the top of my head, but I know I've read all three. Oh yeah, Dina Castor's autobiography. So there you go.
Get them onto the Christmas list as well, Shawnee.
Yeah, that's it. I'll stick with David Goggins. Read that again. That's it from the three of us, guys. Yeah, that's it. So we've got one more episode coming next week, and then that'll be us then for the rest of the year. So we'll talk to you next week. To myself, Eric, and Rachel. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.